Today we're going to repair a damaged barrel mainspring. These are the tools you will need. Some files, smooth jaw pliers, tin snips, flame gun, butane, masking tape, biro or pencil, small vise and a hole punch set. Okay, let's get started. This is a mainspring we're going to repair. You can see it's cracked either side and has got a bit of a lip on it here. That's waiting to break inside a barrel and destroy some of your wheels when that snaps. Now, first thing we do, tear off some masking tape. And place it on the back of the spring, lining up one edge accurately, and press it down. So that when you turn it over, you can see where the hole is. Now, taking a biro or pen, trace round the hole in the spring 2 or 3 times so that it's quite distinct. Now, remove the masking tape and put it aside. Now, with the tin snips, come up about 6 mil or 1/4 of an inch above the top of the hole and cut a straight line across the spring, or more or less a straight line. Now, having recovered the bit that just jumped onto the floor, we'll tear off another piece of masking tape. We'll place it over the end of the spring where we've just cut it off and push it down flat. Take another piece of masking tape and placing the end that we just cut off over the top of the tape, we'll tape it down with the other piece of masking tape, making sure that the end lines up neatly. Now, taking your pen or pencil, trace around the old end of the spring. Now remove the masking tape and the end of the old spring. Which then leaves you with a template to the end of the new spring. Now, using the tin snips, carefully cut along the line that you have just drawn. To give you a general shape of the end of the spring. We'll file that neatly later, but at the moment that's all we need for that. Now, remove the masking tape and we're ready for the next part of the operation, which is annealing the spring. That's the rough end now that we've cut it. Now collect your masking tape that's got the template hole on it. Line up the smooth side and press it down onto the spring, making sure that it's in the middle. Grab your pen and outline the hole that we marked before, assuming your pen's going to work for you, so that it is easier to see. Okay, next step, we need to draw a line in the centre of both radiuses so we know where to put the punch. There we have it. Now we select the correct hole size by lining the punches up on the diagram we've drawn and making sure that it fits inside the drawing completely. Right, that's the first one. It's 5/32 of an inch. We'll put this into the punch. Got him. Screw that back in again. Now we have to put the corresponding base on. 5/32. That one. Okay, we screw that in. Ups, the correct way would probably be a good idea, so that it just comes up above the level of the punch, like so. You can see it moving in and out. That's about correct. Punch goes down, that'll punch that out beautifully. Now, we now align the punch on our hole that we have drawn on the template. Hold it there, check it both ways to make sure that it's right. When you're sure it's right, squeeze the punch and it's done. There's a hole. This can also be done on a drill press, but make sure that you hold the mainspring very tightly clamped down or it'll move. Okay, we need the next hole, and it's a larger one, so we'll replace the 5/32 of an inch punches and look for the next size that we require. that. Now back to our spring again. You'll see that the radius at the top is larger than the last one, so we'll start looking to see what size we need. We'll check the next one. I think that's the one, but let's see. Yes. No, that's all right. We'll use that punch. The hole at the bottom is always larger than the top one, so that it can easily catch in the hook of the barrel. That's 7/30 seconds. Line the punch on the bottom part of your template and align it. It's not easy to do and it takes time, but it's got to be placed correctly. That's in the center, and the center of the line we put there, remember, to align it. So that's all right. Okay, once that's right, close the punch and open it up. That's the two holes that we're going to use. Now, because we're going to file this to its correct shape, it'll be a lot easier if we can punch that other piece out of the center there. So we'll use the 5/30 second punch again. Once again, aligning it in the center of the hole. Not easy to see, but it's in the center. So we'll punch that, remove the spring, and there you can see, well, you can now, that will now be a lot easier to file out. Now, because this is a spring, we need to anneal, in other words, remove the tension out of it and make it soft so that we can file that hole correctly, and then when we finish filing it flat, we'll then draw file it, but first we'll anneal it. Hold the spring about 1/2 inch below the top hole that you punched with flat jawed pliers so you don't mark the spring. It's heating up now. Nice cherry red. We'll let that cool, and we should be right to go on to the next step, which is filing. First we'll file the ends flat, because this is now annealed, it's soft. You can bend the ends up slightly to get a better angle on the file. Slowly moving in one direction. We'll start to take the rough bits off the end of the spring. Keeping it smooth and round. You can feel the file cutting into the metal as we round it off. We'll check with the end we cut off in a moment. We'll do it by eye initially. See how we go. Down all right. Look at the one that we took off, the end we cut off. Line them up, and it's pretty close. There's a tiny little bit on that end that we'll remove. Back on top of the vise, we'll take that hide point off and round it off onto the edge. Now we'll turn it upside down, look at it from the other angle, and clean up any bits that don't look quite right. Tiny little lip there, we'll very carefully remove that. Okay, that gives us the end piece all right. Now we file the centerpiece out. Set it up in a vise. Do it this way, it'll be easier. Up a tiny little bit so we can get at it. There we go. Now, turn round. Now, keeping the file flat, we'll start to remove those high points. Working slowly in one direction. Will take some time. It's a very fine file. We've got a bit of metal to remove. Smooth, steady strokes in one direction. I'll finish the rest of this off camera, then I'll come back and I'll show you the final product. Okay, we're back now. I'll put that to get it level. Put the spring back into the vise. We'll use a rat tail file to draw file the hole that we've made. You need to draw file this so as to remove any tears or snags along the length of the hole, because if we don't, Any imperfections are likely to cause problems once the spring is reinstalled. Coming along. Now I'll put this piece in. Smooth that corner off a little bit, and we can draw file it. That's the original hole on the spring, and that's the new one that we've cut. That'll fit nicely into the barrel.